Moving on, there's one more concept that I want you guys to be familiar with, and that's the idea of a context window. So I'm sure all of you guys have at least once or twice heard someone talking about a context window, but in case you didn't know what a context window actually is, a context window is just the maximum number of tokens in the input plus the output within one run of the model. So I'm going to say that again. The context window is the maximum number of tokens of the input plus output within one run of the model. So what I basically mean is if you write a prompt once, the maximum number of tokens or words that the model can have within your input and the output that it creates for that specific input within that one run or one execution of the model is what we call context window. So to put this in perspective for you, let's say if a model has a context window of 300,000 tokens and the input prompt that you write is 200,000 tokens long, meaning the input or the prompt you wrote is really long. Then if the output that the model wants to create is 150,000 tokens long, once the model creates 100,000 tokens of output, what will happen is that it will reach the context window limit, meaning it's already got 200,000 inside the prompt and 100,000 in output. So what it will do is it will stop there. It wouldn't be able to create more tokens inside the output because it will reach its limit. And so even if the model actually wanted to output an extra 50,000, it can't. So it'll just stop there and it'll break the sentence. And that's the idea of a context window. It's basically just how many tokens can the model remember within one execution in terms of inputs and outputs. And this is especially very relevant for building agentic systems because you want the model to be able to remember what it did in the previous steps as it's trying to execute a new step. And so if you end up having problems where the model has to run a very long bunch of steps, so it's very long time horizon in terms of the problem itself, that context actually gets really large. And if that context gets really large and it exceeds the context window, the model won't be able to remember, for example, what happened back here when it's executing this step. And so that's really bad because it's going to get the model to do something wrong. And so that's why one of the most fundamental things in terms of large language model research and what we're trying to push for is to have models with larger context windows. So right now, as I'm recording this video, the best models that we have 1 million context window. Meaning you can write 1 million tokens inside the input plus the output that the model gives you within one run, which is a lot. It's basically around 750,000 words, which is obviously a massive number of words. But we're pushing this, and even Sam Altman said that in the future, we might have models that have 1 trillion context window. Now, won't that be insane?